Have you ever looked at someone else's life and wondered why you don't have what they have? Ever scrolled through photos, watched success, heard applause, and asked, why not me? If you've ever been shadowed by envy, today's story may change the way you see yourself, and perhaps the whole world around you. This is the journey of Rohan, a boy who learned there's a different kind of power waiting when you look through the mirror of jealousy and see a reflection of potential. Rohan was born in a neighborhood where dreams traveled on the backs of bicycles. Fathers worked double shifts and festival clothes came once a year, but across the street lived the Mathers, a family whose life seemed spun from silk and sunlight. While Rohan's mother packed school lunches with leftover dal and chapati, Mrs. Mather's Instagram overflowed with brunches, vacations, and shining medals pinned to her son Aryan's chest. Aryan's shoes were always clean, his school bag new, and he laughed without worry, the way a king strolls his courtyards. Sometimes Rohan thought he hated Aryan. Other times he simply hated himself for not being Aryan. As the boys grew, so did the divide. Aryan topped every exam with effortless charm. Teachers sang his praises. He played cricket, and the ball seemed to leap at his command. The girls giggled when he walked by. Rohan worked just as hard, if not harder, but never reached the top. Awards day was the hardest. Rohan stood in the crowd, clapping politely while Aryan's name echoed through the auditorium. His pulse pounded. Why does success always find him and never me? At home, he vented through sarcasm and slammed doors. He spent hours scrolling through Aryan's posts, growing bitter by the minute. Rohan quit painting, convinced Aryan's art was way better. He stopped playing chess, sure he could never win. Piece by piece, he shrunk, caged by his own envy. That winter, the school announced a talent show. Aryan singer, athlete, golden boy was chosen to host. Rohan signed up for nothing. What's the point? He muttered, but his mother noticed. After dinner, she sat beside him quietly, placing an old mirror in his hands. Rohan, do you know why your grandfather loved this mirror? Rohan shrugged. He said, when you look in a mirror, you can choose to see what you lack, or what you wish to become. That choice shapes your life. Rohan was in no mood for philosophy. He went to bed, the mirror's words rattling in his restless mind. That night, Rohan dreamed. He wandered a hall filled with mirrors, every surface reflecting not who he was, but who he wasn't. Aryan with a medal. Aryan scoring 100. Aryan surrounded by congratulations. He tried running, but every hall led to another version of not enough. Breathless, he collapsed, and one mirror shimmered, growing clearer. This mirror didn't show Aryan. It showed Rohan himself, holding a paintbrush, surrounded by colors. His reflection looked surprised, but proud. Rohan woke before sunrise, heart pounding with a strange energy. At breakfast, the mirror's riddle replayed in his head. He suddenly remembered. As a child, he'd spent entire afternoons painting. He'd even won a local competition once, before envy convinced him to stop, because Aryan painted better. Now, impulsively, Rohan signed up for the talent show under live painting. He didn't know if he was good enough. He just knew the envy had turned so heavy, he'd rather fail than drown in it. Every night, he practiced. Not for medals, not for crowds, just to chase the feeling he'd lost. The more he painted, the more he realized. He'd spent so long chasing Aryan's journey, he'd forgotten his own. The day of the show arrived. Rohan's hands shook behind the curtain, almost dropping his brushes. He peeked out. Aryan, dazzling in his suit, worked the crowd, already a star. Doubt slithered in. Why even try? No one's here for you. But suddenly, Rohan remembered his mother's voice. When you look in the mirror, see what you wish to become. He took a breath, walked on stage. Under the spotlight, everything else faded. Time slowed as brush met canvas. He painted a sunrise bursting through shadows. His shadows, he painted his fear, his longing, his hope. When he finished, there was silence, a long, hanging moment. Then a single clap, then another. Soon, the hall erupted. Rohan looked up, breathless, and saw Aryan, front row, leading the applause. Backstage, Aryan found Rohan. I didn't know you could paint like that," Aryan said. Rohan laughed, embarrassed. "Me neither, honestly. I guess I just forgot." Aryan's eyes softened. "I used to wish I was good at things like you. The things you never show anyone." For the first time, Rohan realized. Everyone, even Aryan, had hidden doubts, silent dreams. Everyone measured themselves against someone else's strengths, never seeing their own in full color. That night, Rohan sat before his old mirror. For the first time, he saw not flaws, not someone lesser than Aryan, but a boy full of stories, colors, and strength. He even messaged Aryan, asking for advice on cricket. Aryan, in turn, asked for painting tips. They laughed, realizing how much time they'd wasted holding each other at arm's length. Over months, Rohan stopped worrying about being as good as Aryan. He started being the best Rohan possible. He painted more, joining exhibitions. He wrote about overcoming envy, turning it into inspiration. When someone else succeeded, he cheered, not because he'd given up competing, but because he now understood. Everyone's journey is unique, and everyone's gifts matter. When graduation day arrived, Aryan won the Best All-Rounder award. No surprise. But Rohan, without expectation, received a different honor. Artistic Spirit, for inspiring his classmates to pursue hidden talents. His mother hugged him, whispering, "You finally saw yourself, my son. The only comparison that matters." Years passed. Rohan became an art teacher, using his story to help students struggling with comparison and envy. He kept his grandfather's mirror on his desk. Sometimes, students would stare into it, voice their regrets and wishes. He'd ask them, "Do you see what you lack or what you're becoming?" Hundreds of young minds, hundreds of unique talents, each one learning that envy is just a signal calling you back to your own path. Maybe you're listening right now, thinking of someone you envy. Maybe you've spent years haunted by what you aren't, instead of celebrating what you are. Rohan's journey whispers a question to us all. What if, the next time comparison grows sharp, you let it guide you to your hidden gifts? What would change if you saw through the mirror into the possibility, not the problem? Give yourself a chance to discover, not just desire. Let admiration become your teacher, not your jailer. So tonight, when you pass by a mirror, glance a little deeper. See not only what the world sees, or all the things you wish you were. See the hidden story inside you, waiting for your courage to set it free. Will you let comparison steal your light? Or will you, like Rohan, turn envy into the first stroke of your own masterpiece?